Hello everyone, this is Grace. It is July the 25th, 2022, and we are continuing our study on the biblical day. Now we're going to take a new direction in the study today. We'll get back to what we were studying, and we'll finish that off shortly. But I want to take like a brief detour from the direction that we were going, and we want to take a look at the 24-hour day. Now, I did watch some videos on this to try and get some additional information. A lot of the information that I got conflicted one with the other. There's different beliefs. So in this study, if I say something that you don't think that they believe, just know that I heard it from someone somewhere differently, okay? It just doesn't address what you heard. It doesn't apply to what you heard. So let's get started. So this is one of their key verses. Well, this is their key verse. It's John 11:9. Jesus answered, "Are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbleth not, because he seeth the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbleth, because there is no light in him." So what they believe that the light, the actual literal sunlight, plays a role in the spiritual interpretation of the Bible. This is not true. It is not true. Not only is it not true, since I started this study, I believe this as well. So when I started this study and I saw how little a role light actually played, it actually amazed me. I actually started to make a comment on it. I kind of made a comment before when I talked about the big role that the evening and the morning played, but I probably would have made another comment about how little a role light and darkness played in it had I been given a chance before I did this study. But I'm not gonna I can't just tell you that. Of course, they're telling you something different. We're going to go through and I'm going to show you that this is, I don't know if I can show you how little a role the light plays, but if you look at all of the videos, you'll probably be able to see it. Maybe not from this series, but if you look at all the videos, you'll probably be able to see it. Because literally, light and darkness plays a role in the Bible, maybe just above a way of keeping time. It has very little impact. But anyway, they combine this scripture with Genesis 1. "And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day." So what they do is they say this day is the same as this day, and its components are the evening and the morning. And they transpose this because we know up here he first created light. So light was there at the beginning of the day. And we know that this is true because the day begins at high noon. This is what we're teaching here. So they say no, because the day begins at high noon, it should not be called evening. It should be called the morning, because the morning means the light, as the day means the light. Do you see what I'm saying? Morning doesn't mean morning. It actually means light. So day doesn't mean, and it's synonymous with day. No, day means, day means evening and morning. Morning means light. And some of them teach that day also means day. Some of them teach that day can mean 12 hours or 24 hours. They're less extreme. But some of them teach that if you don't see day and night, it only means day. You cannot apply the night portion of the day to that scripture at all. Okay, and they're very insistent upon that. And the reason why is because they put a high emphasis on the importance of light in scriptural interpretation, and light and darkness. So Morning has to come first because morning means light. So it's morning and evening. Now, this may sound confusing, but we all know that we call morning daylight. This is every day for us. So even though it sounds confusing, in our mind, we should be able to logically understand that. I'm telling you what they say, not to confuse you, not to poke fun at anyone. I'm telling you that because I want you to understand the line of thinking. And we should be able to logically understand mornings first, evening second. Now, the times, they varied. The times were morning, everything starts at 6 and ends at 6. Now, they were all consistent upon that. But morning would be sometimes from 6 to 12, and then evening 12 to 6. I heard evening was at sunset and then ended at sundown. Another time evening was at 3. Just different things in regards to when evening began. But the consistent thing was that morning began at 6. They were all consistent about that. So it was the morning and the evening are the first day. The morning, I don't know why they changed it, to be honest with you. I really don't know why. I don't know why they insist. I guess for, I think maybe so that we could understand it better. Probably if you pin one of them down on it, they would say, well, it could probably be evening and morning, but then you would have a harder time conceptualizing, if that's a word. Yeah. So that may be just why. I don't think it doesn't really have anything to do with the words. It's more about the light and the darkness. Okay? So let's say it like that. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. Now, I want you to remember the number for day, and the way I remember is that day and night. Hold on. I have to go back down here. Day and night both start with the 3. Okay? Evening and morning, neither one of those starts with a 3. I pretty much got them memorized by now after looking at them so much, but every once in a while I'll have to fall back on that 3. Anyway, I have one example that I want to show you that conflicts with that in this video. And but this one's a little bit hard to follow. And I know that. But just hang in there with me through the study. I'm going to have about 6 or 8 videos, 6 or 8 stories to tell, I think. I'm not sure which one. I'm not sure the exact number, but it'll probably end up being somewhere between 6 and 8. And you should be able to see by the end of the study that is not true. That it cannot apply in the Bible. Exodus 40 verse 34. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation because of the cloud, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day. I'm sorry, I was thinking of something while I was reading that. Let me start from here and read again. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. Moreover, thou leadest them in the day by a cloudy pillar, and in the night by a pillar of fire, to give them light in the way wherein they should go. The pillar of the cloud departed not from them by day to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night to show them light and the way wherein they should go. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud, and all the night with a light of fire. Okay, so here is our scripture that's going to conflict with the 12-hour theory. So you're going to want to revert back. You're going to want to revert back to what we've read in the previous scriptures. So I'm going to be stopping as we read this because I want you to stay focused on what the words actually say. And on the day that the tabernacle was reared up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, namely the tent of the testimony. The tent of the testimony is the most holy place. And I actually included those scriptures at the end for those of you who wanted to see that for yourself. But the tent of the testimony, the cloud, as I read in the first scripture, as the first scripture in this segment, God would reside in the temple upon the altar, and the smoke would emanate from the most holy place and go outward from there. So they said, namely the tent of the testimony, because this is where it was emanating from. So, and at even, there was upon the tabernacle, as it were, the appearance of fire until the morning. Now notice this is even. It's not night and day, it's at even. But we're going to bypass this for a moment. This will be explained once we complete. You'll understand this once we complete the study. So it was always, the cloud covered it. This by day was added and it changes the meaning, so we have to take it out. So it was always, the cloud covered it, and the appearance of fire by night. So it's one cloud. It has the appearance of fire, no heat, the appearance of fire until the morning. So it was always, the cloud covered it, even as the appearance of fire by night. But it's just the appearance of fire, there's no heat. And when the cloud was taken up from the tabernacle, then after that the children of Israel journeyed, and in the place where the cloud abode, there the children of Israel pitched their tents. At the commandment of the Lord the children of Israel journeyed, and at the commandment of the Lord they pitched. As long as the cloud abode upon the tabernacle, they rested in their tents. And when the cloud tarried long upon the tabernacle many days, then the children of Israel kept the charge of the Lord and journeyed not. Now there is a conflict here. If someone tries to teach you that a day needs to have night in order to include the night, there's a clear conflict here. But that's not what we're talking about right now, so we're just going to bypass that as well, and we're going to continue on. And so it was, when the cloud was a few days upon the tabernacle, according to the commandment of the Lord, they abode in their tents, and according to the commandment of the Lord they journeyed. And so it was, when the cloud was a few days upon the tabernacle, if it stayed there, they would abide in their tents. If it left, they journeyed. No matter how long it was there, is what they're saying here. No matter how long it was there, they would stay or they would go according to the next move that the cloud made. Here is the conflict. And so it was, when the cloud abode from even 6153 until morning 1242, that the cloud was taken up in the morning, and they journeyed, whether it was by day or by night, that the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. What this is saying is that that cloud never moved in the evening. It was never taken up from 12 noon until midnight. But it would move from midnight until noon. So if it didn't move in the evening, if it only moved in the morning, Let me read it for you again. And so it was when the cloud abode from evening until morning. It's making it clear to you. If it abode there from evening until morning, and the cloud was taken up in the morning, then they journeyed, whether it was by day or by night that the cloud was taken up, they journeyed. It was taken up in the morning. There had to be a day portion and there had to be a night portion of the morning in order for this to be true. There has to be a day portion of the morning in order for them to journey in the day. There has to be a night portion of the morning in order for them to journey in the night. And from there they would journey. 2 parts to the morning, day and night. And it tells you specifically, it would abide from evening until morning. It gives you the description of the day first. So you can't change it. And it makes logical sense when you have when you have an understanding of the day as being the 12-hour day as not being dictated by light. You cannot dictate a day by light. No one has a 12-hour day. We only have there's only a month or two, maybe even if I stretch it to 3. The majority, so let's say 2 months out of the year in the summer and 2 months out of the year in the spring, or 2 months out of the year in the spring. No, it's not true though. We don't have 12-hour days here in the in the Midwest very often. In the summertime, yeah, they come along, but for the most part, no. It's not common. What do you tell the people in Alaska? Well, they tell, the light doesn't become very important when, from what I understand, it all just kind of goes out the window. This whole light thing and this whole darkness thing goes out the window if it rains, if you live in Alaska, if you live in a place where you don't get 12 hours of sunlight, which is most of the world. Then they just say keep it from 6 to 6. So the light doesn't really make that much of a difference, even in their interpretation of the scriptures. It doesn't matter. And it's not, and it's only elevated slightly above that in the Bible. It's just not that important. It's not. So people in Alaska, you don't get daylight, but an hour or two a day, that's okay. Keep it from 6 to 6. Keep the Sabbath from 6 to 6. Rainy day, cloudy day, no sun at all, keep the Sabbath from 6 to 6. See, so it's not really important at all. It's just not. But anyway, we will leave it at this. Oh, let me show you the scriptures for the tabernacle. And the Lord will create upon every dwelling place of Mount Zion, and upon her assemblies, the cloud and smoke by day, and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For upon all the glory shall be a defense. And on the first day of the first month shalt thou set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and cover the ark with the veil. That's Exodus 40 verse 2. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring the pure oil olive beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always in the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony. Exodus 27, 20 and 21. And I think these are the last ones. And thou shalt lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony, where I will meet with you. This is where Aaron's rod had to be taken into the temple, into the tabernacle. And he tells them that he's going to lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony. We know that the testimony is behind the veil, where I will meet with you. And Moses laid up the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of witness. And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, and bloomed blossoms, and yielded almonds. I think that's the last one. Oh, there's one more. Oh, it's just this. Okay, so that is all I have to say. I will see you in the next video.